Good evening for those of you who are in East Africa. This is In Truth and in Spirit World of Worship. It is a Thursday, and every Thursday we have a weekly catch-up. I am your week's moderator. Last month I wasn't around. I apologize. But I hope those of you who are around, you enjoyed. So we are back again this Thursday. It is almost full house. All the agents are here. So it is a blessing to have you. And this Monday, the 4th of September 2025, our topic is trustworthiness. And we want to look at this issue of trust. And we're going to look at a number of questions. But before that, we need to think about this issue of trust. And let's fulfill the tradition and say a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we want to thank you for this moment and this fellowship. Inspire us, speak to us. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen. Now, trust. We are trying to hold a conversation about trust, and then we get to know what it is, because I know most of us have people that we trust, and we also have people that trust us. So trust is part of our living. You cannot live without trust. Scientists have tried to dismiss trust. Normally, what we mean by faith, we the Christians, we mean trust. We are saying that we trust that there is God, even though we cannot point at that being, but we trust that there is God. We also trust that this God, whom we have not seen physically, is involved into the affairs of our life and living here. So that is the whole scope of what we mean by faith. So when we say faith, we mean trust. That's why we normally insist that there's a difference between faith and belief, because belief is quite another thing, and trust is actually what we mean when we say faith. Okay, that's the Christian side. But for today, let's bias ourselves to our social living, and then we ask ourselves what trust is. We'll be looking at these questions. What exactly is trust? Okay. Then also asking how important is trust in building, one, the social capital, two, institutions, probably three, how important is trust in business, transactions and activities. Then we'll also be asking, is trust a gamble? When you say that you trust someone, are you gambling? Is it a gamble? Then we'll be asking another question. What are the traits of a trustworthy person? What are those traits? How can we tell that this person is trustworthy and the other cannot be trusted? All right. Then finally, we'll be asking a personal question. Would you say you are a trustworthy person? Would you say personally, speaking for yourself, would you say that you're a trustworthy person? So that is what we'll be talking about today. There are many people who have the existence of betrayal demonstrates the existence of trust. The fact that many people have been betrayed, that communicates that many people have trusted each other. In Jeremiah, after discussing the state of a human being and how sin has affected the human being, in Jeremiah chapter 17, I think verse 5, it warns us against trusting a human being because they are fickle in nature, they are fallen. You cannot trust them. Okay, so we want to start with defining what we mean by trust. I don't know who wants to attempt a definition so that we can kick off from there and tell us what they think trust is. what would you say trust is? When you say that you trust someone, what exactly do you mean? And what are you doing by trusting? Yes, Professor Selvide, finally you're here.
When I'm trusting, I am making myself vulnerable. Whenever I say I am trusting, I am making myself vulnerable. I'm putting myself at the hands of the other person to do what they will. When I'm trusting, I am believing that the other person I'm trusting is reliable, is truthful, and works for my best and works in my interest. When I'm trusting, I am handing over my own control, relegating it, relinquishing my own control into the control of the other person I am trusting. When I am trusting, I am making myself, I am convincing myself that they can never betray me. Okay? And when I am trusting others, I am believing that they cannot work against me. They are for me and therefore on my side. That's what I'm doing when I'm trusting. I am making myself vulnerable. I am believing that the other person is reliable, truthful, and working for my best or for my best interest. I am relinquishing my control in them or on them. And I am believing that they will never betray me in the future and they will never work against me. I want to submit so that the rest, that's what I can do at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, my question to whoever wants to come in next is that a wise thing to do?
I would say
So I
yes.
think first,
Okay, Pets, when you come.
me, I believe trust is very important. And one is that we cannot do everything ourselves. There are some things that we have to entrust with others to help us. So we have to communicate. Like there are some things that you can't do, so you have to trust that other person will able to do what you cannot do. Then the other thing is the psychology that helps your psychology settle down. When you trust someone, then you are at peace psychologically. You're not worried of anything because you put all your trust in that particular person. I'll give an example. Okay, like when you go to a doctor, and that doctor will probably believe in that person, and trust in that person. You even feel by just by just talking to him, your mind has already been healed because you leave that in the right hand. The same thing when you take your car to a mechanic and you trust, you'll be very comfortable knowing that what he has done is the right thing and wherever I'm going to solve the problem. So it brings that comfort in your mind, because you think that you've handed over everything to someone who knows what he's doing. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, so Peterson just demonstrated the importance of trust. And Professor Selwide had given us a definition. And I think we'll get back to Ruthembana's view, which is very important for where our discussion is going. But now that you people agree with the definition of trust and the demonstration of the act of trusting, which Professor Selwide has actually given us, would you say it is a wise thing to do to trust? Jethro, you had the floor.
Well, I would say it's a wise thing because you have no other option but to trust. Yeah, because what's the alternative then? In fact, I would go as far as saying trust is the currency within which human relationships or human interaction is possible. Without trust, I mean, everything falls apart. There's suspicion, there's less collaboration, there's less, communities fall apart and so on and so forth. So to directly answer your question, there's no alternative. We have to trust. And maybe as we go on, we'll understand maybe how to trust. It's not necessarily blind trust or blind faith, if you like. I think there are ways in which we can get to trust somebody.
Because
But
that's why I wanted to come in with the two world views
yes,
that almost govern the entire planet. That is the scientific view and the faith-based view. Now, scientists are saying that for you to trust something, you need to test it in the laboratory and then prove, and then you can trust it. Then those from my worldview, actually, I belong to this worldview, we argue that not everything should be tested to be trusted. There are things that you need to trust even without testing. And then we also argue that after something is tested, there is no need of trust. That's our argument. So why would you be vulnerable, be exposed to something that that you don't know? And why would you take that risk? Is it necessary to take that risk?
in my view, it is necessary because, first of all, you cannot know everything. Even the scientists who tell us they only believe after trusting. They themselves have not tested everything. They also use trust. They trust in earlier work of those who have come before them. First of all, they even trust that science is the correct way to to to
Mm.
to live on Earth. So that's already trust at work.
There's a pre-trust
Yes, they
that
trust in
science
in the
works.
scientific method. Yes, that
Okay.
is already trust. They trust that the scientific method will lead them to what they call the truth.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is the beginning of their trust. It's based on whether that's already trust, but also they believe in experiments done by others because they've not carried out every single experiment themselves. They're believing on papers written, they're believing on other people's experiments and things like that. So that they also exercise trust in that way.
Even the machines they use, they're not the ones they that they're not the ones that make them. They use other people's machines to do their experimental work.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So they even trust that the machines will give them the correct results. So you see, all that is trust. So human beings are trusting beings.
So by
Oh,
relying on others' research, that means that they are trusting the others.
yes. Yes, yes, they were
I thought,
supplementing.
okay, yeah. So for me, whether you look at it from the scientific worldview or the Christian worldview, like we do, we're all trusting beings. I
Mm,
think what we shall later go into is the basis of that trust. Like I said, I think trust does not necessarily have to be blind. It
mm,
can also be logical in a way.
mm.
I think also trust has two parts. It can be risky, or it can be a risk on one side, but also it can be confidence on another side.
Yeah, I
How you
like.
balance the two is how, I guess,
Mm.
how you proceed with your life.
Yeah, before I let you go, I like your angle of the basis of trust. And this is where the scientists come in and say that our basis is testing the variables. And then with the Christians come in and say our basis is experience. So would you consider the laboratory variables and testing variables in the laboratory and the human experience as also a basis of one's trust? For example, uh, I have not taken you to the lab to prove and confirm that you are not a killer. But if I came to your house and you gave me something to eat, I would eat without asking, and I would sleep in your house without any worry. And my basis of trusting you is that I have known you for this past 15 years. My experience with you, I haven't seen you kill anyone, but I don't stay with you. Would you consider experience as the basis of trust, vis-a-vis or against the basis of experiment? Because the scientists argue that experiment is the only accredited basis of trust, and experience is not.
No, experience is the basis of trust.
Okay.
It's a basis of trust because, like I've said, it's one side. Sometimes it can just be somebody's track record. You know, it can be said, no, Isaiah never tells lies. When Isaiah says something, he actually does it. When Isaiah told me this, so that experience, yes, can be a basis of trust. That's why I said one side is logical in that sense. Then the other side is just risky. Where you say, as much as I've been with Isaiah for 15 years, he's a human being. He can disappoint at any time. So now that's the second part of it. So where I fault the scientists by just sticking to the scientific method, and by that I mean the looking at us as just materials in a lab, because we all know human beings are not just materials. We have other things like conscience. How do you test a conscience in a lab? We Christians say there's a soul and spirit. How do you test that in a lab? So the scientific view in a materialistic way is very narrow in my opinion.
You Christians have no evidence for the soul and the spirit. Those are just hallucinations.
But we have a conscience. Explain your conscience in your formulas, your scientific formulas. We are conscious beings. So actually, the other thing I would like to say is Christians do not actually true Christians don't necessarily dismiss the scientific method. They just look at it as another way of understanding the world. On the other hand, the scientists just dismiss everything that's not testable in a lab. So we Christians are saying, yes, consider the scientific method. Yes, that's one way to look at it. But also there's the experiential side. There's the emotional side of a human being, which you can't put in a lab. So for us to look at a holistic picture of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I really pushed you hard on that because I wanted people here like Rutembana, like Professor Seruvide, and you yourself. You normally argue with atheists and scientists because I wanted everyone who is listening to us to understand that what we mean when we say evidence, because normally we are accused of not providing evidence for our belief and trust in God. And we normally tell them that evidence has got two categories, the experimental evidence and the experiential evidence. And I think that actually makes sense. If experience qualifies as the basis of one's trust, then we can ably demonstrate to the world of the scientists that we believe and have faith in God because of what we've gone through throughout our lives. And we have observed those experiences and those events in our lives, and they have actually worked as the basis of our trust in God. That's interesting. Well, Dr. Mukwana, that's why you come in to tell us how trusting contributes to one's social capital, to the institutions, and to the businesses that we do, and how trusting has participated in making some people wealthy, and how it has actually destroyed some people's wealth. If you have any experience, Dr. Mukwana, and any other thing that you would like to contribute to this discussion, this is your time, sir.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Personally, I kind of disagree. I was trying to look for a better word, but I failed to get it. Disagree with the precurrent speakers, that is my brother Jethro and Pedson, because I'm thinking that they are arguing in the angle of faith, not trust. And I want to remove trust from faith, or maybe call it advanced level of faith. You know, we live by faith. You marry somebody's daughter by faith. You don't know whether she's going to poison you or pierce you. So does she also leave her parents to live with you by faith? I don't want to call it by trust. I'm calling it by faith because you believe that this person loves you, and you try to prove yourself right or wrong. Probably as time goes on, you've lived together for 10 years, 15 years, there are things you begin to see that you cannot trust this person here. You know very well that you cannot trust your husband around the girls, or your wife around some men, but you still live together. Even in business, you don't start with the trust, you start by faith. I'm thinking that trust is that level of being confident and sure that this person cannot do this to me. But I want to think that we rarely arrive at that level. We normally live on try and error. Let me do this and see what this person will do. However, when...
Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but before you continue, I need you to help this audience and tell us the difference between trust and faith, so that we can understand those other points that you're going to make henceforth.
Okay. Yep. Trust is total dependency. Total dependency and knowledge, confidence and surety in an individual or something. When I drive my vehicle to Ginger, the truth is I don't trust it. I just have faith. Having faith is different from trust, because faith is more like what Jethro said, that since I have nothing to do. And many times, by the way, that's how we relate with God. You say you have faith in God because you don't have any other option. And you're sick, you've reached a certain level, and the doctors have said nothing. They say, okay, now I trust God. It's not trust. It is whatever will happen. It's more of a try and error. So trust is sure, is being confident that this person, this Isaiah, can never. And I'm trying to say that I don't think we reach that level. I was told that some daughters even fear to stay in the same room with their fathers. But they have grown up together. Even the father probably has bathed them at pointed tea, but with a human being achieving that level of trust, whoever does that, the Bible says he's cursed. Okay, let me give you an example. I have faith in Peter, but I don't trust Peter around my wife. Not that I have seen bad behavior around him, but he's a human being. Being a human being means if I left Peter with my wife in my house, I'm doing it purely on faith that maybe this man will have respect for our friendship and not unzip. So it is purely faith, not trust. And for me, I don't want to believe that faith is trust. Faith is when you are not sure, but you say, okay, God, I have faith in you, are able to do this. Trust is when you're sure, and that is advanced level of faith. So I was saying that when a person does not have faith in others, if, for example, you're always doubting them, you don't go far, because you can never go far alone. You need the people around you. So you have faith in them. They throw you down, they break you down. And by the way, brother, let me share this. The people who break us down are not always many. Out of 10, could be 1 or 2. The only challenge is that we magnify the 2 and forget the 8. But we have faith in friends, and friends actually support us. We go very far. Should you sense omuntu namuchawa and then abakowa, I can't trust man. Of course, I'm using now the word trust, mean you have faith in man. You cannot go anywhere in life. Do you know that some people can come and say, I know I don't trust people, but he's also talking to you who is people anyway. So by the fact that you're talking to me about people, then you're not being truthful to yourself. So to me, let me try to look for better words, but I'm thinking trust and faith are 2 different things.
Okay. Doctor, before you go, now that you are even a theologian, besides other many letters that you have, don't you think that maybe you wanted to distinguish trust with belief and not faith necessarily? Because would you say it was a fair judgment to say that people have faith in God because they have nothing else to do? And would you think that is a fair judgment for you yourself, even because I know you have faith in God?
Yes. No, I believe because Isaiah puts it clearly.
Yes.
Cast every man who trusts
That's Jeremiah.
in man.
That's Jeremiah.
Yes, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I think 17 years. Cast is in man who trusts in man. But blessed is any man who trusts in the Lord. But when God is calling us to have a relationship with him, because he knows we are very difficult human beings who cannot easily trust, he says, okay, try me, have faith in me. So having faith in God is not being sure of what he is able to do, but kind of believing that, well, he can do it. But when your faith grows to that level, when you know that my God can do this, then that is trust. That's not faith.
All right. Thank you. Thank you then. Maybe we'll have that discussion of faith, trust, and belief another time. But for now, let us constrain ourselves to the idea of trust. My daughter Sandra, you're welcome. Thank you for being consistent, my girl. It's good to be here. I am not sure I trust you, but I'm sure I love you. All right then. All right then. Elder Ariong, are you driving? Can you say something?
Yes, I am driving, but I think I can talk.
Yes. Do you have people that you trust, or do you have people that trust you? And what's your experience? What would you want to share with us?
I have people I trust, and there are people who trust me.
Okay.
Not because I am sure they won't betray me, and not just because they are sure I won't betray them. But it is they are saying that, well, what else have I? What else can I? But I can give him a chance. I think he will do this. Let's pray him. But I also wanted help as I was listening to discussant here. Is trust the same as honesty? Is it the same as faithfulness? Or trust is totally a different thing?
Okay. Okay. Good. You heard the question of the brother. Francis, your worldview.
My worldview of trust, as previous speakers have said, trust is based on experience, and experience. Trust is not is you observe something, you deal with something or someone over time, and that's when you trust. Trust is so you can trust different people, you can trust things, you can trust institutions. For example, I could trust the English systems, policing systems, and political systems, but I cannot trust the Ugandan systems because of the history and the experience I've had with the Ugandan systems. I have ever voted in England. I was chosen to serve on the on the on the on the court pan. What is it called? That I've forgotten it. That that panel which decides
jury.
whether someone is guilty. The jury. Yeah, I was a juror in England, and I observed the political system. I voted, and you would see how the votes were safeguarded, and it was you couldn't even think of someone. I saw the systems for 4 years, and I trusted them because of the experience. The same thing with human beings. I trust people based on how they have behaved around me over different scenarios, and I don't trust wholesomely. I trust in particular instances. For example, I can say I trust in Isaiah in all other things apart from money, to do with money. There are people they are enclaves of trust because of the experiences I've had with the person. For example, if I've had, I can say I trust Isaiah in theology because I have an experience of so many years of Isaiah dissecting different theological angles. So I can trust in that area. So even trust is not wholesome like you trust someone in everything, or you trust an institution in everything, or you trust a particular thing or gadget in everything. Trust is specific to particular aspects which you've experienced with that individual, with that institution, or with that item. So trust, we can't say that you trust someone wholesomely. No, it's about particular things. The way you say, I trust this vehicle in driving me from point A to point B, but you don't trust a vehicle in making you meals, it's not a cooker. You don't trust a vehicle in freezing things or keeping them chilled, it's not a fridge. So trust is in cocoons of areas. So that's how I view trust. But then there's another the last aspect of trust, which is I don't know whether you thought about it when compiling this, which affected me a lot, and maybe it affects you people. I've always had a lot of trust in myself. There is self-trust. I've always had trust in myself about particular things, and the trust I have in myself in particular areas is so. I even have up to now. I still have it in particular things, but then I feel that trust is more dangerous than even the other trusts I have in things and other people, because of when you're dealing with yourself and you know you're very sure about something, uh, you can overhype and over trust yourself because it's me, I know myself. Many times you say that we know ourselves so much, so we can trust ourselves with in particular areas where we think we have a lot of experience, we have a lot of knowledge, we've studied those areas, we've had experience in those areas, we've worked in those areas, so you feel you cannot be challenged or you can't fail in that area. I've failed in two areas in my life where I overtrusted myself. And I think I ever trusted myself in some in particular area, and it almost bordered to pride. Like that, so I learned a lesson that I can't trust myself. I should not over trust myself. I should have the way I have reservations with other people and things, machines, and all that. I should always have reservations, even when it comes to trusting in myself, because when that fall comes, it's usually heavy. It's heavy, and the repercussions uh, they come with a reckoning. Thank you.
Moses, before you go, why do you have to trust yourself and yet you know everything about yourself? How is that possible to trust yourself? Is it being sure about yourself? Is
Uh,
that what you mean?
yeah, trust is having confidence in something or someone doing something so well in a particular field, like I said, that I trust Isaiah. For example, I can say that I trust Isaiah in going out of his way to dig up a theological uh, aspect of something and then to present it to me in the best way possible. So
in which
that
area,
confidence I have, yeah.
in
So
which area of your being do you have confidence in?
Currently the things I trust myself in. I trust myself with financial numbers.
Okay,
Because
fine.
of the experience I've had and concepts and applying
Brilliant.
them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Before lastly, as you go, I know you have children.
Mm.
Do they trust you specifically or they trust you wholesomely?
I think my kids seem to be wise enough to trust me in specific areas, not wholesomely.
Oh, your children are so special. Thank you very much. Good. Who wants to jump in with a question before I invite in another speaker? Okay.
Pastor,
Yes.
if I may add something to the last question,
Yes.
I just want to add something because I've observed it with them.
Yes.
There are things where there are areas where they know they can't trust me, and I've seen them, like, especially I'm just juxtaposing myself against my wife, and you find that there are certain things where they will wait for them. Even if I'm around, they won't mention it to me, or they won't ask me for an opinion or about it or something, and they wait for their mother. And there are other things whereby they'll wait, even if their mother is around. They won't mention anything to them. Even when I come back, they say, "Daddy, I want." For example, they may want something from me, and I know it's only me who can provide. So they say, then I ask them, why didn't you, like, one of the kids comes to me, oh, Abby says, "Daddy, I want this." Then, so why didn't you ask your mother? He said, "Of course, mother can't." She will even say, "Of course." They have that confidence. So I think even them, the trust they have in us, maybe they're old enough. My last born is 14. Maybe they're old enough, but then I think they have observed us. As we say, that trust is about observation and experience you have with someone or something.
Yeah.
So they know
Because what you have literally done to this conversation is to particularize trust
yeah.
and then bias it to reliability, to
Mhm.
professional reliability. You can trust someone because if they are dressed in a medical gown, you can trust them when you see their certificate punched and sealed on the wall. Then you can trust them to treat you as their doctor, as your doctor. And unfortunately, my brother, our resident doctor and scientist, is not here. The scientist Bob is not here. I wish he was here. But when we talk about herbal medicine, Bob has got a lot of issues with herbal medicine because he's a scientist. But by experience, we know that some herbal medicine really works. But you see, Bob would find it difficult to trust a herbalist. with his physical ailment, and yet we all know that in one way or another it really works. So if we are to trust people in those specific angles, then I'm not sure we're talking about trust here, because they are children. For children, as we, if they are still children, not adults, their father is trusted in each and everything, you know. If
Pastor,
they are,
do the kids have, do those children have faith in their fathers, or they trust their fathers? Because I think it's the latter.
Now you are taking us back to Dr. Mukwana, which also he also opened another can of worm, because what we had introduced with here, and I'm not sure we have to go into that, is to conclude that what the secular world calls trust is what the Christian world calls faith. But Dr. Mukwana refuted that. And since Dr. Mukwana is a theologian, he will have to go into the Old Testament and find out what emuna means, the Hebrew word emuna, how it is translated. And I think that will give him a communication. And then when he goes into the New Testament, he will have to distinguish between pistis and pisteo. And then he will have to tell what means belief and what means faith, and what the Greek pisteo can be, the best translation of the Greek pisteo. But that is for Dr. Mukwana. That's for Dr. Mukwana. But for now, let us constrain ourselves to the fact that children trust us, and they trust us regardless of our expertise. And I don't know whether we can subject trust to expertise. Then that will be a professional relationship. And yet we wanted this thing to be as broad as it can, that regardless of one's profession, do you trust this individual? And if you say, yeah, I trust him accordingly, then do you trust what they do, or you trust them? Because that's now the position that you put us into. But anyway, those are my musings about your discussions. The people
Pastor,
are here; they can take us through. Yes, please.
Pastor,
Continue,
if I may
please.
ask, based on that on the few observations you've made, to me, trust is rooted in works, observed works. That's trust. That's why I was dragging you back into that debate of Dr. Mukwana, which Dr. Mukwana sprang up, because trust is rooted in works. It's a works-based thing. You can't trust something you've not seen at work or in performance. I would say I trust faith that Faith she cannot do ABCD because she's been my wife for 21 years, and I've observed that she's veered away from whatever I'm saying. I trust her in not being able to do so. I think trust is works based.
Okay, so basically we trust what people do, we don't trust people.
Yeah, I think that.
Okay, yeah, your position has been registered. Your position has been registered. Any other person who would like to come in, please? Rutembana, it has been a while. What have you collected so far? You normally come at the same time with Jethro. Are you together? Jethro had also come.
Hey,
Rutembana is in. I trust that Rutembana is in Kabohe.
anyway, me mine is on the business, and the business world and economy and finance all move on one thing which we call trust. I'll just give you like one example. When we're starting our hardware shop, we went to buy things from a lady who saw my wedding ring as I was trying to negotiate for prices as things. And from there, she just saw my wedding ring, and then she was, hey, you even married. And she was very happy. And guess what? She trusted us as a responsible person, and she started giving us credit just because of a wedding ring. And for like over 4 years, we used to get a credit facility just based on that. Now, when you talk about the credit market, the financial markets, all of them just move on one thing, what we call trust. Like for banks, an example, like in the
Mm.
US, those banks that you see, all the stock market, it's just all about trust. The Wall Street will say, give us your money, we are going to give you this return. Okay, let me just come back to Uganda. Now these things have started coming, the things we hear about unit trust and all that. They say, give us your money, then at the end of the year, we're going to give you 10%. So you give them your money, expect to get that return. So it's just all about trust.
Yes.
When you go to, what was I going to mention? When you bank your money in a bank, you trust that it's going to be safe there, and you just keep it there. You go home, sleep when you're comfortable, that it is safe. When you go to buy things from a shop, you're going to trust that whatever they're giving you is of the right quality and of a good price. So
Okay.
the business and the economy just rotates around that one thing they call trust.
Really?
And on the same thing, like you get a contract, you start working, you expect your employer to pay you at the end of the month. That is all trust. Or your employer also hires you, trusts you that you're going to deliver, do a good job. So the economy and the business environment just rotates around trust.
Our
Now,
sociology, our
in
sociology is built on trust and trusting.
yes.
Mm.
Now, the only problem is that because you see trust is it's like interweaved. It's like a thread, how you see a thread virgin in a cloth. Now, the moment one thread gets out like this, then it crumbles. In 2008, the financial
Okay.
crisis, that financial crisis that you hear about, it was
Yes.
just one bank like this, I think Lehman Brothers. So it went to borrow money from another bank because there is that interbank lending. Banks don't always have money. You can go to get money from, let's say, Stanbic, they don't have money, but then they can call Centenary, brings in that money. Okay, let me just put it in our local terms. You can go to buy something from Chukubo. Then the guy says, let me go and get it from the store. Then he goes and gets it from another shop. Then he
Cheap.
brings it. He makes
Yes.
a small margin. So even the
Yes.
banking system works like that. These banks are network. There's that interbank network in between them. Now, whenever there's no smooth transaction between the interbank, then they collapse. So in 2008, because of the crisis that was there, these banks that were dealing with easy subprime lending loans and all those that things, they could not be given money from other banks. And the moment that trust broke like this, made an entire financial system of the world crumble. So whenever there's a leakage or whenever there's a mistrust somewhere, even if it is very small, like this, then just know that the whole system is going to crumble. So
Exactly.
if let's say you've been getting money, like the business I'm talking about, if let's say you've been borrowing money from a bank and then you default, or you default at that small shop where you buy sugar from, even if you've been getting things over 100 million, but if you default like 60K, the trust it closed, those people will no longer give you any money. So that's how important trust is. And it can make businesses, it can kill businesses. There are so many businesses that are trading, not because they're using their money, but because they're using other people's money. And those people are giving them money because of trust. They go get things on credit, they sell, they get money like that, and business moves on. Now, businesses are made on trust. That trust. I've even talked about that customer trust. There's a reason why people drink fuel from Shell because they trust a good brand. The other time people were eating. The other time Cafe Javas was being painted with a bad. Because of what? Because the bad cockroaches. People eat from Cafe Javas because they trust they have good food. Now, just that small thing can make a business corrupt. So trust makes businesses, but then mistrust can destroy an entire business empire. Thank you.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Sebo Sebutinde, Board of Governors, iTiS Zoom, Chairman, CEO, you're welcome. Joli Muganda. Sebutinde, can you say hello? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Gracious, you come, are you okay?
Oh, yes, hello. Hello, brethren. Sorry, I've joined late. I'm really, in a fixed time, but I really wanted to enjoy this meeting. So
Okay,
though
that's
I'm late, I'm happy really to hear the discussion. And I'm moving on. I've had audios, and it's really a big thing. Trust, for me, I would think it is a very rare gift, but it does exist. So, big man, you'll be guiding us, I think, on how best we should renew ourselves until we have some trustworthy, being in a community. At least you have a few numbers whom you can trust, because the Bible tells us, "Cursed is who is he who trusts in a man." So I think you will really enlighten us on how we should have boundaries upon our trust. Otherwise, thanks so much.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It's good to hear from you. Sandra, before I bring
Thank you.
in Jethro, Sandra, you okay? You're right. Can you say hi? Daughter?
Hello.
Yes, are you all right? Can you say hi? You have any questions so far? You've been listening in for a while.
I'm fine. Maybe questions will come in later. Let me follow for now.
Okay, that's all right. Well, Jet, you wanted to come in earlier on. I don't know why you what you had to say about all these other views that we've had so far about this whole.
No, I don't remember what I
Oh, you
wanted to
don't.
say. But
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I guess it was around the whole trust business being evidence-based. Because, like Francis rightly said, evidence can be faked. It is really the religious equivalent of works. Someone can put up a very good show in order to win your trust, and then and you end up trusting them, and then they do the exact opposite. So that's why I said I still maintain that trust still has an element of risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just evidence. There's still
And
an element of risk.
I guess what you choose to call risk is what one would call the intention. You just need to look at someone and decide that you're going to trust them, regardless of how much information that you have and that you don't have.
Yes, you could even say that.
Yeah, sure.
You could even say you trust and then look for the evidence to try to support your decision to trust.
You're okay.
You can't even take it that far. I don't know, but yeah.
So sometimes trust starts with trusting. It doesn't trust.
Yes, it doesn't start with evidence.
It starts with trusting.
It starts with trust, and then as you relate, because we said trust is the human relationship currency. It's the currency of human relationships. Then as you transact and relate, the trust
What do you think?
grows.
What do you think is the contribution of our instincts on our way to trust or not to trust?
By the way, that's an interesting question because have you ever had somebody who says, I mean, you walk into a room for a meeting and then there's somebody, you see them, and then everything within you just screams, no. You don't know their name, you've never interacted with them, but something about them says, this guy is not genuine. And indeed, a few months along the way, something happens. They're like, but something told me at that moment.
That gut feeling.
Yes, it's like a gut feeling. I don't know what you want to call it, gut feeling or instinct, but I think it's also an element of trust. Yeah, so trust is not one thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, sure. So,
but I want this man Peter to come back. He started this ruckus, and then he went quiet on us. But yeah, proceed, please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Professor Vida, you've been summoned. Are you there?
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Trust can have 3 layers or 3 dimensions. Rational trust, relational trust, and when the two meet somewhere, it becomes practical trust. Let me begin with rational trust. Rational trust is what scientists call evidence-based trust. The problem to them is that which is rational must be provable. And it is only provable if it is material. But not to go technical, rational is that which is based on a history. That wherever trust is, there is some history, however minute that history could be. One of the grandfathers of the Hebrew people, called Abraham, had a reason to trust something he has never seen or never heard before. But he must have had a history of the like. He must have had a trusting history in things he had never tested before. So to me, that history is what I call rationality. There is some history, however faint, there is always some brief or minute history. Number one. Number two is relational, also known as emotional trust. This one is a choice you make in order to relate. You must make it. You don't need proof of it. You don't need proof, prior interaction. You only choose. It is a choice. You either choose to trust or you don't, or you choose not to trust. It is relational. Now, the practical trust is when the two, A and B, come into play. You have some history, but also you have a relational connection. Now, considering the 3 I have mentioned, I'm also arguing that who is to be trusted? Who is worthy your trust? Such that we have the term trustworthy. Who is worthy your trust? Everyone is worthy your trust, depending on your problem. Depending on your problem statement. Everyone is worthy of your trust until they betray it. But even when they betray it, where you go to find alternative, you will need trust. So in other words, there is no point in life where somebody is hanging. So and this one brings me to what Mr. Jeremiah is saying. So is the curse on the one who trusts or trust, as far as humanity is concerned, is a curse marked situation. It is a curse marked activity, if it is an activity anyway. When Mr. Jeremiah says, cursed is one who trusts in man, what alternative has he given? Because both God and man, because the next text is saying, sorry?
His alternative is to trust God, not man. That's his alternative.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, but okay.
I thought
but,
so too. Thank you.
Yeah, but that is I wonder whether Mr. Jeremiah was in this world when he was suggesting that. Because I really wonder if
He's not here to defend himself. You can continue. He's not here to defend himself.
whether he's part of us here.
But I could defend him.
Because just a minute. Because when you don't trust man, so what do you do when you're still with men? And when Mr. Jeremiah talks of trusting God, what is he saying? Is it true that everything we have trusted God for we have got or we get? So to me, Mr. Jeremiah's assertion needs investigation. It's just like he speaks like Mr. Paul, who says no leadership, all leadership is from God. Really? Really? Are those people, were they here? Were they residents of this world?
Oh Lord.
So to me, we have no option. There is no one you can say is not worth your trust. And there is no one you can say is worth your trust. You only have one option: to trust or not to trust. But even when you say you don't trust, even not trusting is trusting. So cursed is he or she who trusts in man. That's it. This is a curse which is necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you that we have a necessary curse, and it is called trusting. Trusting what? Men. You either trust them or trust them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now 20 minutes. And in these 20 minutes, I would like us now to turn to practicality. How should we trust each other in this world? Who should we trust in this world? Okay. How should we use trust to participate in our economy? Long ago, when I was a young person, there were people here who got rich. And they got rich because of two reasons. One, trust, and the other is truth. Indians would send them things, they sell, and then they could send back the money. And those people became rich. Rutembana has dropped off. I wanted him to share the story of the spear motors and how one of the rich guys here in Uganda was trusted by Germans to become an agent. So majority of us do not have what to do. And majority of us have too much products that need to be sold, which we cannot trust with people to sell those products, take off their profit and send back our money. So employment also, a big chunk of unemployment is due to trust issues. A big chunk of unemployment. All right. So how can we now be practical about trusting so that we change our economic lives, so that we change our families? Normally, when you're going to spend a night with someone who is not your spouse, you pass by the hospital and do some checkup, and then you proceed. but we leave our wives at home. Our husbands leave us and go wherever they go. But when they come back after a week, after a day, after a month, we seldom check, do a blood test or blood sample. Why? Because we trust them. We trust them. I don't know whether that is the wise thing to do. I don't know how wise that is. Should married people test every after 3 months or not? Or there is no need? Or there is no need. We are careful with which restaurant we eat from, but we're not careful with food at home. Why? Because we trust people at home. Is it because of who they are? What Professor Vida has called relational trust? Or is it rational to trust people because we are relatives? Is it rational? Just because they are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our parents, they are what? Is it rational? Because many people have gone abroad to work and they've been sending their money to their parents. And when you ask them, why are you sending your money to your parents instead of banking your money on a fixed deposit? They say, he's my father. She's my mother. And then, to their shock, they have found different results here. Relational trust. Is it a wise thing? Is relational trust rational? Is it rational? So, how wise can we trust? Dr. Mukwana, that's why you pick it up. Because I know you have wrestled with some trust consequences in counseling rooms as a pastor and as a reverend. Dr. Mukwana, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I was just reflecting on the question, how wise can you be in trusting? You see, Jeremiah again tells us that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can understand it? But that's number one. But number two, are you aware that if you looked at yourself critically, you'll discover that you even have issues trusting yourself. At one time, like probably like almost Peter mentioned, that somebody can break your heart, for example, or which word did he use? Lose your trust. But when it's based on a misunderstanding, and some misunderstandings are hard to explain. So how wise can you be in trusting? Maybe I would say pray to God. Yeah, pray to God.
Yeah.
But for me, when I meet Isaiah, I don't want to know the life of Isaiah before I met him. I just want to start there. And like Peter said, he has 100% trust. From that point, I've met him. And I want to assume probably that's what it could be with you. Now, as we continue, you break one, you do, I also break, you break, I break, but we continue. There are worst scenarios of trust, of course, but where somebody cannot be wise. Just like Elder Rugolobi said, I have my bishop. When I give him money, he says, when he says, lend me money, and I give him, in my heart, I have given him. I have not lent him.
That's the wisdom.
Yes. Because if I have lent him, I know he's not going to pay. So, you know, there are certain things Peter is my friend, but there are certain things I can't tell him because I know he doesn't want to hear. I will not waste my time. So that's probably the wisdom that the more you stay with people, you learn them, and then you begin dealing with them the way you've understood them.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't remain naive and gullible. You lend me money this year. I don't pay it back, but convince you that, I got problems now, but then you give me again, and you give me again. You're going to ruin this relationship.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. I guess from your introductory statement of the heart is deceitful, I think the first wisdom in trusting fellow human beings is to understand that fellow human beings are fallen human beings. So we start from that footing. Interesting. Ariong, do you want to re-echo your question, or throughout this discussion, somehow, somewhere, we have touched your question? Elder Ariong. That is, if you can still hear us.
Yes. Yeah, let me listen in first. Something I'm doing.
Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. That's brilliant. What has engaged you has actually delivered us from going back to your question. Brilliant. The Archbishop, the Prince of Buganda Kingdom, Dave, can you say hi? Dave, are you there? I guess this is Wasaja.
So,
Okay.
indeed, the introduction is. Thank you so much. I am there.
The introduction was confusing. You are the Archbishop of iTiS, so you normally appear and disappear. You have these mere apparitions. We are about saying you that holy Dave of the places that you appear and disappear. Good. Francis, how wise should we be in trusting human beings?
Our wisdom should, I think our wisdom should be based, I think it should be experiential, I think, and should be experiential in that we should not, when you're beginning the journey of trusting, first you don't have any experience to start with. So you should base it on existing experiences, which is history, which is sociological history. For example, there are certain people who are you find in a society whereby a certain type of people are trusted more with resources than others. Maybe people who have, for example, someone who has had people who have had training in finance and accounting may be trusted with monetary resources more, and you find it in existence. For example, I'm just giving an example from my field. So by the time you grow up, you find that people who are trusted with such resources are with that background. So usually the wisdom informs you that you should base your initial trust should not be based on your personal experience. No, it should be based on the sociological and historical experiences of your environment.
Okay.
Well, for example, when you find that people don't play around with snakes because you don't have to first experience a snake biting you before you stop playing around with snakes. Before you
work with existing information.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. So you start with working with existing information, then you upgrade to your own experiences now. When you start engaging with specific people, yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Professor Widde, that's where you come in with your wisdom as we wind up. Yes.
So trust Isaiah White until he betrays you in that line of trust. And then when he does, switch on the mode that is who the human being is. Not that's who Isaiah is. one of the disappointments and the hatreds that aroused in us is to think that Isaiah has betrayed us. Isaiah has not betrayed us so that Isaac will not. No, I think we should also get to learn that. Isaiah has betrayed you because that is who a human being is. According to Mr. Jeremiah.
That's
So,
what Dr. had told us.
So when you say Isaiah Muvudeko, Isaiah is a Muvudeko. Katingenza kumulino. Oh. So you just wait for Morino. So you will go to Samson Kasum. And then you will wait. So that so that's it. Trust. For example, when you test before you unite.
Professor Kirwide, we are seeking wisdom from you, not threats. That's what we want. So please stop threatening us and then help us. How wisely should we trust fellow human beings?
How wise should we behave with trust? This is how wise we should. You know, I now rarely use borders. But my elder brother, Isaiah Tumwine, whenever I walk with him and I stop a taxi,
I walk away.
That's when you doubt whether this guy has ever been your brother. He doesn't speak, he keeps quiet, he walks away. Now, I don't know the cause of my brother Isaiah White's distrust of taxis. But now, let me tell my brother White. So you make sure you have a helmet. I'm sure you walk with a helmet. At least the helmet, at least. Why? That is how wise we should deal with trust. Everyone
must have a helmet.
Should have a helmet. At least, for it is written in Ephesians, put on the armor of God. And then
what you are doing, what Francis taught us, it is called a cabero. Professor Silvin, a cabero.
You just put on the armor, have a helmet, have gloves.
Francis taught us the hermeneutics of a cabero. That's what you're doing, really. Ephesians says in chapter 6.
You have that armor of trust. You have some gloves, some helmet, shin guards, gumboots. That's how we deal wisely with human trust.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My Marion, you're welcome. Are you okay? Can you say hi?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine. I'm just trying to pick from where you guys are.
Okay, long time. We are concluding, but it's good to have you around. You're welcome. Gracious, so far, what have you gathered?
Well, I've actually gathered something similar, especially from Dr. Mukwana. I've been in a clinical room for some years, about 2 years and so, as a doctor. And I think with experiences, you really get a chance to see what we humans are. So it really reflects that it seems trust is really not meant for us men. Where I would still say Jeremiah was right. So it is only when we've come from the fall, which I do believe, because I mean, Christ is still doing his work. I think that's the time we shall have a chance to trust fellow men. But for now, I think it is better for you to deal with the man. Love, show the love, care, but be ready to be disappointed, so that when you're disappointed, it is not a shock. And then the other thing, I think trust for those few still happens to grow. You may be related with someone for some time as you study behavior, and you really see that at this point, this person can't do this. And then you have a percentage of trust. So that's why I still say the trust, which is 100%, is specifically reserved for the Most High God. And then for us human beings, it is upon the percentage that is with the experiences you've had with your spouse, maybe for the 40 years in marriage. And then you say, really, trust, I think this person has my 40% trust. Because for me personally, I don't think anybody has, I think more than 40% of my trust in the whole world. And yet I have a dad, I have a mom. So I think you relate. So basically that's what I would say, to safeguard yourself. It is better to appreciate the fact that we're human beings and we ain't angels, and then we shall, I think, live in peace.
Okay.
I meant perfect. Sorry, where I'm wrong, please.
Oh no, it's okay, Gracious. You have a message. You have a text message in the chat from your fellow medical worker.
Oh.
Okay, please connect. That's Dr. Sandra. Now, yes, you check that message. That is not our business.
Oh yes. Oh
now,
yes. Oh yes.
Elder Young, your hand is up.
Yes, I need help. I got distracted a little. I don't know whether there's a response for this question I'm going to ask. The question is, does God trust us? Because it looks like very many discussants seemed to say and agree that trust is majorly based on our experiences, either with the item or individual to be trusted or other people's experiences. Does God trust us? Because I believe God has had experiences with us. Does he trust us? And if he does he base on his experience with us to trust us, or
okay,
your question
has been covered. Your question has been covered. Yeah, and Professor Selvide is here to briefly respond.
That number one, yes, he trusts us because even when we betray him, he knew it. So he trusts us, and he's never shocked when betrayal happens. Number one. Number two, and lastly, no, he does not trust us. He grace-wises us.
You see, Professor Selvide, your major problem is complicating things when you are resolving complex. That's my trouble with you, and you have adamantly
akakasajja tukagove katemu tabachekakula.
He's
Can we really trust you, Selvide, here now?
But Ariong, what Selvide is trying to communicate to you in the first point is that does an omniscient God, the God who knows everything, does he need to trust? If you know everything, do you need to trust? How would you respond to that?
So what did we say? What did we say when we said our trust is based on our experiences, basically saying our knowledge?
Because
what were we meaning?
Because our us, we are not omniscient, and yet in God.
So in essence, saying that our trust is based on our experience and knowledge is a way of admitting that
Yes.
that we don't know how to trust,
Exactly.
or we can't be trusted? I don't know.
No, it is a way of admitting that we don't know everything. That is why we need to trust.
Yeah.
Mm.
Kakati awo.
Kakati awo.
Let us just trust it.
So the necessity for us human beings to trust each other is limited information. That's why we need to trust. That's why I keep challenging the atheists and the scientists that you cannot say that you trust science after an experiment. When you have experimented, there is no need of trusting. The reason as to why we trust God is because we have actually not seen him physically, but we trust that he's there, and our evidence is experience. There are things that are done outside our knowledge, and yet we experience that which is outside our knowledge. Hence faith, hence trust. Now we trust fellow human beings because we don't have all the details. They just give us their word, and then we believe that they will act upon that word. So an omniscient God does not need to trust us because he knows everything. When you tell him that I will not do it again, he knows whether you will do it again or not. And he knows that you're speaking out of your ignorance of giving him that empty promise, or you actually giving him a sure promise, which you actually do not even know that is even sure because you don't even know what you will do next. That's how broken and fallen you are. So for him, he deals us with at that level of omniscience. So, Chairman, are you there? Jethro Samba.
I'm here, sir.
Finally, what have you gathered? Our time is up.
Since human beings,
where's the wisdom?
since human beings don't know everything, that is
Yes.
where trust comes in. So trust cannot be based on evidence. Previous behavior experience can be a good prediction of how the relationship will play out, but it is not a guarantee.
Yeah, exactly.
So in other words, human beings need trust because you can never have all the evidence.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's the only way you can relate with people.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Jethro, as you leave, can you trust me with a loan of 50K? or you need evidence?
USD, UGX, GBP.
17 days. Our governor, are you there? Governor 17 day. Joli Mkamawangi, do you need to give us one last word?
Isaiah.
Wanji Sebo.
Even when Jethro is asking whether it is in pounds or dollars or UGX or Kenya shillings,
it was a demonstration of distrust.
It is an issue of lack of trust.
Exactly. Me, I know sinners because Dr. Mukwana told us that before you read Jeremiah chapter 17, you start with the condition and the state of the heart. I know how sick and fallen the heart of Jethro is. So now that you, Elder Young, you are liberated and your heart is healthy, can you please send me 50K as a loan?
Sigenda kuwereza loni. Nengenda kuwa.
Anyway, Marion, do you have any parting shot?
Not today.
None today, dear. That's all right. Dr. Sandra, are you there? Before I bring in Omlangira Wasajja.
Yes, hi everyone.
Yes, hi again.
I still have trust issues because never I trust someone to what extent, because you trust a human being and then you're going to end up with a heartbreak. Me, I do not trust people.
And me, I don't even trust your father. Your father is a very difficult man. But anyway, that's okay.
It's up to you. Me, I trust him.
Okay,
Isaiah, that is yours.
Ariok, they were talking about the father of Sandra. They were talking about the father
I'm
of
saying, if you don't trust the father of Sandra, that is yours, Evio Vivio.
Wasaja, would you want to say something about the psychology of trust issues briefly, and then we close this meeting in 2 statements? Okay, he said no, sir. Thank you for the response. Ladies and gentlemen, this is In Truth and in Spirit World of Worship Fellowship. It has been a Thursday weekly catch-up. We've been dealing with the issue of trust and trustworthiness. We have covered a number of things. We have not covered everything. We do not here at iTiS, we do not pledge to know everything, but we pledge to provoke and invoke wisdom and challenge all positions. We want you to go and think further about this issue. Send us your questions, send us your comments, send us your advice on on our WhatsApp groups. Whoever sends you a clip, please connect to that person so that you can reach us. Go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and put there your comments in forms of questions and compliments. We will appreciate. We are here every Monday and every Thursday on Zoom, and we have a physical fellowship every Sunday, and also have a physical fellowship every Saturday. Saturday in the morning from 9 to 12, and then Sunday, and also Sunday. Thank you so much for all the people who attended today's Zoom. Governor Sebutinde, my daughter Sandra, my only Marion, Dr. Gracious, Dr. Mukwana, Elder Francis, thank you so much for being around. Elder Francis, do you give us your last remark, or you didn't? Or you're the first?
I gave you the last remark.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Elder Ryong, thank you. And Prince Dave on the mic. We are always blessed to have you, and keep coming as you come. Thank you so much. May God bless you. See you next Monday. Bye.